Hello, everybody. I would love to check if my mic is working and it looks like my camera's working. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Yes, remember to caffeinate. Thank you, Cora. The mic is all set. Thank you, Argus. Hello, friends. Welcome to Tabletop Tonight, the AM edition. This is something new. I've been trying to change up times when I'm streaming. It's just working better for my schedule. Loud and clear. Thank you, AJ. Dr. Threeput, thank you so much, my friend. Panda Angel's in the house. Thank you, Amanda. D Albatross. Daniel Kime is in the house. Corthane, Dr. Threeput. I love Dr. Threeput. I love the story about you being a DJ and playing a record that's 33 at the 45 speed. I remember doing that back in the day, like as a kid, because it's like the Chipmunks, right? A lot of fun. I want to thank everyone for joining me. Beyond Dead 13 is in the house. Rasman, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. Rasman and I were talking about in Discord, actually, in another Discord channel we're on, about the Last Crumb. It's a cookie like pop-up or whatever based in LA, and they're supposedly the best cookies in the world. Now, I saw that. Of course, I was interested. Rasman let me know about it. I signed up for the email list, got on the email list, and then they just let you know when they're going to bake cookies. They ship nationwide here in the U.S., and they went online yesterday, and they literally sell out their cookies in like 2 minutes. It's crazy. You go live, you put your order in, you pay through Google Pay or whatever, and then they ship you cookies 2 days later. And I wanted to surprise Michelle. I was the one surprised when I saw that price for those dozen cookies. Now, the cookies have really fun names, like the chocolate chip is called Better Than Sex. Their red velvet cookie has an F-bomb in the name. They have the James Dean. They have the Madonna. Madonna's like peanut butter. James Dean's like a mix with Oreo cookies. They also have a lemon drop cookie and so forth. So it looks amazing, right? So I'm like thinking, okay, these are gourmet deluxe cookies. I'm trying to brace myself, to see if I'm going to be, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, how much do I think they're going to charge for a dozen? They're designer cookies. The packaging's beautiful. I was like, okay, 50, 60 bucks. That's like $5 a cookie. One time I'll do it one time just to try the experience and, surprise Michelle. No, I went online. I got there. I was like right on dot 5:30 p.m. yesterday. Put it in my cart. I go to pay $140 plus $10 tax. Oh, free shipping. So $150 for a dozen cookies. I'm like, I just couldn't do it, friends. There's a limit to how far I would want to get the greatest cookie in the world. Yeah, Daniel, thank you. Yeah, I was out. Just like I like it's that whole cartoon of just like your jaw dropping, hitting the floor. That was me yesterday. $150 dozen cookies. So that's over $10 a cookie. I'm doing the math in my head. I was thinking I'd go $5 a cookie, and I'm like $10. It's over $10 a cookie. So $120. It's over. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Beyond Dead 13 agreed. Corthane, oh hell no. Yeah, I'm thinking of Will Smith, right? Oh hell, that was me yesterday. Now I would have done like one cookie for $10. I think just to try it. And then afterwards, I told Michelle, I was like, I really want to surprise you, babe. And, I told her the price. Like, oh, no. So we're on the same page as far as that. Then we started joking. Why don't we get 14 other friends? We all go, or no, 11 other friends. So that's like a dozen of us. And we each pay like 10, like it'd be probably about $15 or so for one cookie. But then we divided up into like little pieces, like 10 little pieces. I don't know. We're just joking around. It's Mrs. Gab 2020. That's Michelle in chat. They better be the size of a pie. Yeah, and they are not. They're regular size cookies. Each one's individually wrapped. I mean, it is a beautiful package, but you're just paying for that packaging and shipping. And I'm so curious though to try it. I would like to try one, but I cannot pay $150 for a dozen cookies. Good Lord, those are expensive cookies. I've covered in edible gold, right? That's what I'm thinking. And yeah, I see. I feel like everyone's on the same page here. Solo Gaming, you were in the house. Thank you for joining us, my friend. $10 a cookie, a bit much. Yeah, Rasman. Yeah, I had no idea either. I thought it would be a good deal, or I mean, it was something I thought would be in my price range. It was obviously out of my price range. Excuse me. Daniel says, one of my friends does a thing at every single restaurant where he gets the check and does a double take with giant eyes, regardless of the price. Always cracks me up. Nice. That's cool. I love that. Now, and again, that's a full meal, right? I'm okay with, doing a full meal once in a while. If you're going to pay for your friends, we've all done it. Well, a lot of us have done it where, we just pick up the check out of the kindness of your heart. And that's great. And, $150 dinner meal, we've all seen them before. I think most of us have seen a $150 bill, but I've never seen a $150 bill for 12 cookies. It just blows my mind. But hey, you know what? Kudos to them if that's their business, that's their hustle, and they're doing it. I can't hate on that. Make that money, folks. If you're doing, it's cookies. If you get people to pay over $10 a cookie, good for you. Good for you. Beyond that says there are some fancy donuts in the Kroger Orange grocery store here that is like $6 for 4 for some bakery in Chicago. Just don't care for donuts that much to try. Yeah, and everyone has their limits of how much they're willing to spend for a certain delicacy. Of course, I am a big donut fan, but yeah, $6 for 4 seems a bit much. Vault, yeah, a little over $12. It's $12.50 a cookie. Yeah, it's still insane to me. Slivers in the house. Hi, Slivers. Richard Matney's in the house. Hi, Richard. You're from Dakota. It's good to see everyone here. Wow, this is great. I do love me some donuts. Yes, Richard. The old game of toss the CCs in the pot and predict the cost of the check price of the winner pays. That's funny. Yeah. I don't think I've done the credit card game where you just toss it and we see what happens there. I don't think I've ever played that game. But I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today. What I'm doing is I'm going to go over my top 10 board games in my collection. Let me see. I had this little fancy. I'm trying something new here. Is this going to work? I hope it works. Top 10 games in my collection according to BGG. So I have my favorite games in my collection, or as I actually call it my library, right? Because I'm always happy to lend games and, to friends, and we always trade games and stuff. Excuse me. I'm going to hydrate for just a second. Y'all hydrate with me if you can. So I'm looking at the 10 games that they may not be my favorite games. These are the games that are the most highly ranked on BGG. So I'm really curious to see how. I was really curious to see how these shaped up when I did this list, because spoiler alert, some of these games I wouldn't rank in my personal top 10, but I do have them. And every game that I have here on this list, I enjoy. But I'm going to talk about each one. We'll see how far in depth we get into talking about them. But I'm happy to hear your experiences with this game, and then at the end of this, after I go through my list, I'd love to, do a little Q&A and talk to y'all about what games are on your ranked list, top 10. If you haven't already, please join our Discord. Where's the link? Right there. Just drop the Discord. We actually, a bunch of us actually talked about they shared their list, which was really cool. I think it was like, there was a few of you that shared your list, so that was really appreciated. It's interesting. I saw some overlap with my list, which is going to be really cool to see. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, always fun to see people's top 10s. Yes, Daniel. And I don't do this much. And I used to do a show called Top 3 at 3. Where I would do a top 3 list and I'd share it with a guest and we would go back and forth a little bit. And that was always fun. I've gotten away from that just because the timing in the middle of the day for me hasn't been working lately. Just my schedule's changed a little bit. So the 10 a.m. one, I figured, why not do a top 10? We all see them on the Dice Tower, on BGG, all over the YouTubes. Everyone does their top 10s. I figured, I'll try it one time. And I actually think, hopefully, if this goes well, I would like to do this on a regular basis. And maybe in the future, we'll have guests. For now, I'm just going to go solo, and y'all in chat will help me out, which I always appreciate. Going back to Diablo, I can pay a fairly high price for good food, from steak, seafood, exotic foods. I'm more harsh when it comes to seafood, though, so I grew up in a somewhat fishy diet. Okay, yeah. I'm okay with, you go to like sushi. Of course, Michelle and I love sushi. So we expect to pay a little more for that. But when the cookie prices get to sushi prices, that's where I'm like a little hesitant. And what I'm going to do let me see, I had all this set up here. So the top 10 games in my collection with the highest overall BGG rankings. I learned some things about my gaming library here. Number one, the top 20 games on BGG. I own 11 of them, I believe. I think I know I made a note. I shouldn't count exactly how many were, but it was in the top 20. I own over half of them. And I do enjoy each one, but as we get through them, we're going to talk about it, and you'll see what my experiences are with the 10 that made my list. The one that just missed my list, and if it's like personal top 10s, I believe this would probably be in it. But Wingspan, it's not it out of the top 10 ranked BGG, Wingspan was 11, and it's actually number 20 on BGG rankings. So gives you a little sense of what games I'm going to be looking at here in my top 10. So I love Wingspan. It's probably top 10 for me in personal rankings. But again, this is just for BGG. Top 10 games in my collection according to BGG. All right. So D says, this is a great time for me. Can watch while. Oh, awesome. Yes. Friends, thank you for joining me. I always forget so it's 10 a.m. my time, 10:13 Pacific here on my coast, West Coast. I know y'all are coming in from around the world, so thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, or good midday, wherever you may be. If you're in the middle of the night, get some sleep, go to sleep, but you can watch this on VOD. Yeah, Daniel, I love Wingspan. The Wingspan app is great. And hey, Rado's in the house. Thank you, Rado. Let's look at it. I'm going to do this. We're going to put Rado's comment right up there. Look at this. Hey, Ruel, can't stick around. Got to go film some stuff. But here's my top 10 as defined in this video. Agricola, Everdell. Oh, Everdell. Interesting. Orleans, Feast for Odin. Nice. Wingspan. Yes. Concordia, Castles of Burgundy, Spirit Island, Great Western Trail, and Gloomhaven. Thank you, Rado. Yeah, those all great games. Let me see. I'm trying to. There is some crossover. There will be some crossover in the list. So Agricola, I want this. I'll talk. We can talk all day about Rado's list, but we're just going to talk about one. Agricola. It's on my shelf of shame, my shelf of opportunity, as you will. I've had this game. I had the one with the animal meeples and everything. I don't know why I haven't played this game. Why have I not played Agricola? It's just one of those things I've had, I should solo it. Maybe that's what I should do. I know there's digital implementations. It might be on BGA. I'm not sure, but I don't know why I've not played this game. It's a classic, Misery Farm, as they call it. I need to play. Ben Osteen's in the house. Good morning, Ben. Thanks for joining. Agricola's game I want to try so bad. Yeah, August Ray. Yeah, shame. Yeah, there it is right there. The Game of Thrones, shame. That's me. Richard talks about Feast of Odin. Zen Banana Slug, hello. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Three Putt, Agricola, fun game, don't own. Yes. And Dr. Three Putt, thank you for bringing that up. That's one more thing I want to say before I get into my list. The games that I have here, actually, no, this is actually, if I talk about my favorite games, there are certain games I do not own. And one of them that I absolutely love, but I feel like I will never own, which I should never say never, but it is Star Wars Rebellion. I absolutely love that game. And if y'all know, if you don't know, I am a Star Wars fan. I'm an old original trilogy guy. I was going to say I'm an old guy, but that too. Original trilogy guy through and through. But I do, I appreciate the sequels and prequels. I don't like Episode 1. I had very mixed feelings about Episode 9. But, for the most part, I love the Skywalker saga. I love the stuff outside of it. I love Thrawn. I love the Mandalorian. I just started the Bad Batch. But Star Wars Rebellion, the reason why I probably will never own it, my friend Patrick, he's a local gamer. He owns that game. He has painted all the minis. He has the expansion. He's painted everything. And I've only played it with him. And to me, it's an experience. Michelle and I were actually joking about this last night. I want to go, every time I go to Patrick's house to play Star Wars Rebellion, he always has the music playing. We totally just lock in, Empire or the Rebellion versus the Empire. And no matter what side we're on, we have the music blaring. We just get into it. I was joking with Michelle last night. I swear, next time I play this game with Patrick, I'm going to bring a lightsaber, or maybe I'll wear my Wookiee jacket. It's one of those games I would love to, I know it's not really Michelle or Lauren's jam, so it doesn't I have limited space here in the library, so I constantly cull games to make space. And that one, as much as I love, I'd rather play Patrick's copy because it's fully painted. It's on his shelf, not mine. And yeah, that's highly ranked on BGG. So that's one game I do not have. Ben Osteen says, actually, let me back up here. I want to catch up a little while in chat, then we'll get into my list. Dr. Threepod Agricola, fun game. Richard actually says Agricola is a game I will actually say no to playing, and I've heard that from players as well. Augusta Ray, the 14 cards you start with, so much. I know a little bit about it. Yes, I know you have that 14 card starting hand. You got to really figure out, set your strategy for the rest of the game. Good morning, Book of Nerds. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, Rado, of course, yes. No shame, real shame, of course. It's just too many games. Yeah, and I think we all know, or we can all relate, right, friends? Too many games out there, but that's all right. I'd rather have too many games than too few games, right? Vault Hunter Argus says there's 2 of my BGG top 10 that are far down on my personal list. Yeah, and I'm going to get to it in just a minute, but yes, there are a few here that they may be ranked highly on BGG, obviously in the top 20. I probably wouldn't rank them as high. And there's others, of course. And it's all, this is all subjective, right? We all have our tastes. I am an Omni gamer, but I don't know. I want to say I lean towards Ameritrash, but then I love the Eurogame stuff. And yeah, I think the only 2 that I would say definitively, I'm not the biggest fan of social deduction games. That's just not my jam. Like that is just not for me. And probably like hidden movement, I'm not the biggest fan of because it sort of ties it. I'm just not a big deduction fan, which is funny because last year one of my top games was Search for Planet X. That game, beautiful game, just wonderful. It's just really a deduction game, but I love this, like the science theme, like not sci-fi, but a science theme where you're actually like scientists trying to find out where this planet X is, and you use the powers of deduction. And I'm terrible at it. I always joke with Michelle that I would be the worst detective. Like you put a cold case on me for me in my department, like that thing will be a cold case forever. I would never. I'm not a CSI guy. I my powers of deduction, terrible. But hey, not for me. Maybe for you, that's all good. Let me catch up with the comments here. Wow, I'm really far behind. Hold on a second. Book of Nerds needs more Feast for Odin in life. Nice. Daniel says I should play more Rosenberg games. Yeah, I agree. I love Uwe games. I don't think Michelle and I. Okay, so one of our favorites, Uwe's of all time. I love it still to this day. Patchwork. I think that game is awesome. And we actually streamed an Uwe last night. Our buddy Daryl came over. Daryl B Gaming, and Michelle, Daryl, and I, we played New York Zoo, which was a lot of fun. And it's another Uwe game, another polyomino game. Very, I mean, it's lighter on the lighter end, but I mean, there's still, I mean, it's still. I think there's enough on each turn. You're really trying to plan ahead. Like you need to land on certain spots to get what you want, which is sort of neat. I feel like I'm still a Patchwork fan. If you're looking at the lighter end of Uwe's games, I really like Patchwork. But New York Zoo is a good one. I love the little meeples too. You got all these little animal meeples. Ben, I'll see. The only top 10 I have are the top 10 games I want to play currently, and even then, I'm trying to keep a list. Yeah, I think we all share that sentiment, Ben. Thank you. Yeah, there it is, right there. Vault, I think you're saying yesterday because you wouldn't want to play without painting music. Yeah, that's right. I would not want to paint a Rebellion by myself. I'm not a painter. I do like little washes on figures just to bring out the highlights and stuff. So Daniel asks, have you played Imperial Assault? I really like that. Yes, I have. I played I think the first 2 missions, and I actually had a plan to solo that and do it on stream, but I just haven't found the time yet to do that. If anyone works for Fantasy Flight Games, y'all want to sponsor a live stream, maybe hit me, slide into my DMs, as y'all kids say these days. Yeah, Banosine says, got to do the soundtrack with Rebellion. Yes. Same with a similar game, War of the Ring. Yes. And so I have not played War of the Ring. I have a feeling that would be on my top 10 list as well. It is. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, but I just looking at a board and knowing what that game's about, I can see myself fully getting into that. I would love to play. Dead Lasting is in the house. Hi, Dead Last again. And Octavian, thank you for joining us. If you're just joining me for the first time, friends, we're about 20 minutes in. My name is Ruel Gaviola, and I do board game stuff here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media and stuff. You can find me co-hosting a show with Becca Scott called, where's my little thing here? Good Looking Kickstarters. There's the new episode dropped last week, and I actually did solo this time. I did it all by myself. I'm proud of myself. You know, pat myself on the back. I was able to get through an episode without Becca, but we highlight Kickstarter projects that we're really excited about. There's some really good games coming out in Kickstarter these days. I don't know what it's just. I feel like the last 2 or 3 months or so, really, there's been some really cool stuff. So please check it out. And I'd appreciate your support much. It's always good to see the comments on there. And I love hearing what y'all are backing as well. So let us know, either on that video or here in chat. We'll talk about it. Daniel, yes, this is a scientific fact. Painted minis are just better. It's science. Good call, Daniel. My buddy Daryl, he paints as well. He's a great painter, and I know my buddy Marlon does as well. John, Book of Nerds, is an amazing painter. If you ever seen his minis, go to his Instagram page. Chef's kiss with his minis. Dead Last again. I don't care for Agricola myself. Just unclick. Yeah, and that's fair. I've heard that a lot. You know, just as, and I feel like it may click with me. I mean, I gotta play it. You know. Solo Gaming Dad says, I'm working at home. You're on the background. My name is Patrick, and every time you mention your friend, it tickles into my brain, and I'm like, what? Solo Gaming Dad. We shall be internet friends. How about that? Ben says the cards in Agricola are tough, as you have to work out which you will ignore completely and which few you will actually play for before you even play the game. Yeah, that's exactly what I've heard, Ben. And one of these days, I just need to shut up and play it, right? I need to shut up and sit down. Y'all see what I did there? I need to shut up and sit down and play it. Book of Nerds says War of Rings is my favorite 2-player game in the 3-4 hour play range. Nice. Book of Nerds, have you played Star Wars Rebellion? That one I love. Corthane, no worries. I get grief all the time. My wife and I are about all the filler gateway games. Yes, something like Feast of Odin, Gloomhaven, Wingspan, we just won't play. Too long, really. We would love to play 4 small games and 1 mega game. This is a great point. We would love to play 4 small games rather than 1 mega game. Growing up, my family would have the 2-month plays of Axis and Allies. I think that's great, Corthane. I think that's very valid. And, you know, for me, it doesn't make anyone less of a gamer that they would rather play 4 gateway or filler games in an hour or 2 rather than 1 mega game. There's nothing wrong with that, my friend. And if you know, Michelle and I, we play a lot of the lighter end stuff, and I love it. I would not trade anything in the world for it. Seriously, it's, you know, it's family time, and I'm at the tabletop playing games. It doesn't get much better than that. That being said, I do enjoy the heavier stuff, and you'll see some of the heavier stuff on my list. I'm going to start real soon here. But you know, as an Omni gamer and just someone who loves board games, I'm down to play anything. If I'm there with friends or family, we're having a good time playing a game. It, to me personally, doesn't matter, you know. And I've played some bad games like y'all have. You know, I grew up with Monopoly. I did, you know, long games of Risk with friends back in the day when I was younger. I never did play Axis and Allies. That, I think that was the time when I got away from. I mean, I always had games in my life, but that's when around that time I discovered, you know, poker, you know, so I'd play poker instead. But X and Allies, I know for good friends of mine really got into it. Then they got into Magic the Gathering, which I thought was neat, but it just never really, you know, never grabbed hold of me. But then a few years ago, that's when I discovered Pandemic, the game, not like these days, the real thing. Pandemic's the one that really sucked me in. So I always love a good origin story, right? Brandon Jar is in the house. Hi, Brandon Jar. Brandon Jar, I got a shout out to you. I love the pictures that I saw. Benita posted it. You posted it. Anna Maria, Joe, the Phantom Meeple. It was great to see everyone up in the Pacific Northwest get together with Benita. And just, I love seeing that. It was so nice seeing, you know, our internet friends get together, play games, have dinner, and hang out. We got to see Benita about a week ago or last week, and she put together a meetup with some of the Southern California crew, as a small meetup, and it was just nice to connect with her and reconnect with other friends. And slowly but surely, as we're getting safer, everyone's getting vaccinated, and we can have these bigger gatherings. I can't wait to see more of you out there. It was for me, Michelle, we were talking about, it was good for the soul, to actually see people again in person. So that was great. That was nice to see Brain in a Jar. I'm going to finish up a couple of comments here. Continue chatting, folks. I promised myself I would start this by 10:30, and I don't want to go any longer than that. But we'll see how that goes. Let's see. To be honest, if you aren't a big Lord of the Ring fans, War of the Ring might not be such a big hit for you. Oh, okay, it's great, but some of that is a sheer scale and struggle mimicking the book's themes. Okay, good to know. I may have to I have read the trilogy, but I was a much younger man when I read the trilogy, so maybe I'll go back to that, get hyped for it, and then play it. I know, I know John's a big fan of it, and I think Nick Murphy is a big fan of it, and someone else that I know was it Amanda? Were you a big fan of it, Amanda? I forget who it was. Okay, D, really looking for my copy of Chai Tea for 2. Yes, first time. Oh, D, congratulations. D's first Kickstarter was Chai Tea for 2. I think that's a great choice for a first Kickstarter. It's beautiful. We played the early production copy, so there's going to be some tweaks to it, but those dice trays, amazing. And just the game, really rock solid game. We love Chai. I feel like I like Chai Tea for 2 better. Even though it's just a 2-player experience, I feel like there's I love like dice placement games like that. So yeah, it's just more my jam, I think. GB Glazer's in the house. Hello, GB Glazer. Yeah, thanks for the bonus stream. Thank you for joining us, GB. This is actually, I normally, if y'all don't know, I normally stream Tuesday through Thursday nights. But tonight I have a meeting that's going to go long, and I didn't want to rush out of the meeting and then stream at 7 with Michelle. So I decided, hey, why don't we do a stream this morning? And I do want to, I've been playing around with different start times, so I think the 10 a.m. slot would be fun. So I want to do something a little different. And then Michelle and I will be back tomorrow night, Thursday at our regular time. But thank you, GB, for hanging out. My wife has Dead Last Game. My wife has a similar idea. She prefers a lot of short game. Yeah, then one longer. Feels that long game is the more has to offer to make it worth it. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. Book of Nerds have not played Rebellion. I don't know anyone that has it. Oh, Book of Nerds. Yeah, gotta try it. Frank tries. Good morning. Good evening, Frank. Just checked my top 10 according to BGG. Turns out I have 10 of the top 14. Wow. Missing Jaws of Rebellion or Jaws of the Lion. Jaws of Rebellion. Where the Ring will be. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we have some crossover, Frank, but we also have some that are different. Octavian would be happy to teach a curricular Where the Ring if we find. Yes, I would love that, Octavian. Absolutely. Board Game Span's in the house. Hi, Board Game Span. Love me a light game. Any weight game, really. Agreed. And Argus, great point. You can always play multiple rounds of some, even have campaign rules. Yes. BGG, thank you, Bottom Shelf. BGG has a fun tool under stats. Underrated over games. Oh, I did not know that. That is new to me. Again, I wouldn't call myself a power user of BGG, but that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, incredible night. That's so good to see, Brandon Jar. Also, like Chai, never watched or played the game. Okay, cool. All right. Jaws of Rebellion sounds like a game. I feel like Jaws of Rebellion. Let's make that happen, folks. Gloomhaven meets Star Wars, Empire, the Rebels, and the Jaws of the Lion. Okay, let's see if I can do this. What did I have set up here? No, that's not what I had set up. Okay, here's what I had set up. Whoops. And now my phone, it's okay. Google. How do I shut up Google? No, Google, I don't want to talk to you. It's nothing personal. Okay. One quick reminder. I know I've done this earlier, but Discord. Join us in Discord, friends. Hang out there and share your games. I will be sharing mine right now, and then we'll hang out, chat a little bit afterwards. I'd love to hear yours, and then we'll call it a day, and then y'all can watch other streams. But thank you for joining me. Hello, L Fire Spray. Thanks for hanging out. My name's Ruel Gaviola, and this. I was gonna say we're gonna play this game, but we're not playing games. Friends, if you're just joining me, My name is Ruel Gavula, and then these are the top 10 games in my collection according to BGG. So let's jump into it. The number 10 on my list, I feel like I should do the whole Eric Summer number 10. No, we ain't going to do that. Number 10 on my list, Concordia. So, do I have it? I do. I hope is my mic still working? Concordia is number 10 on my list. I love Concordia. This game, it's a hand management game, a deck building game. The one thing that I really enjoy about Concordia is how you're playing this game, the cards that are on them have the victory point conditions, right? You're trying to collect certain things. You're moving your ships around and trying to get complete. It's like very rock solid Euro game, right? Converting resources, getting completing goals. I'm gonna so according to BGG, I played this 3 times. That is incorrect. I'm bad at tracking games. I do have the BG Stats app, but I know I've played this at least half a dozen times. And I just, I get so wrapped in the games, I forget to put on my phone. Nowadays, with more people playing that have BGG Stats, nowadays, a lot of times when I forget, I'll just message my friend, hey, can you send me a screenshot or share the BG Stats on this? This game, I know I played more than that. I love it. I know this for a fact. I have never won this game. I've come close. I think I got to a tiebreak with my buddy Daryl. We played a 2-player game and he beat me on a tiebreaker. But every time else, I get crushed at this game. For whatever reason, I'm just not good at it. But yeah, now Barry mentions driest of games, but so good mechanically. Yeah. And like any Euro game, right? It could be, very dry theme. I mean, look at the cover is like, it's gotten grief for its cover. I feel it's pretty bland. And we see here in chat, yes, bland. Ben Osteen says Concordia has always been a good time for me, regardless of player count. Yeah, and I played it at 2, I played it at 3, and I played it at 4 a few times. I've loved it at each count. I have not played any of the expansions. I've never played it with more than 4 players. It can go up to 5. What's it? Yeah, it does say 5. But yeah, it's just so just well designed, right? And I think that's the one thing that we'll see throughout this list. I feel like every game that's on my list on BGG here, ranked top by BGG, they're just really well designed games. I'm going to look at the comments here. Dr. Three Putts played 13 times. Very nice. Yeah, Dead Last Again. That cover art exists, yes. But Panda Angel makes a great point. One of the few women on a cover. That is correct. So, again, we'd like to see, representation out there, right? And it just I just wish it was a little more exciting than this. But again, it's sort of a dryish theme, trading goods and stuff. But hey, yes, shout out to one of the few women on a board game cover. We need more of that. Absolutely. Brain Jar says Concord is a game we miss but want to try at a board game house sometime. Yeah, it's so good. It's just really like what I love about it too, and this is one thing I do love about the games. Most of the games that are in my top 10 personally is like I love games that have that deep strategy, but they're not like mechanically they're not like, oh, I need to do 1,000 things on my turn. No, you're playing a card. You're playing a card. You can, and then you'll do what the card says. You can use that card in different ways. You can collect different things. It's just a really, really good game. And I'm looking at the weight of the game. So, the complexity rating. It says it's a 3.02 out of 5. That surprises me. I mean, I do remember it's a thinky game, but 3, that's, I don't know if that's, I don't know anything about weights as far as the game. I don't know how they do it. It's a magical formula to me, but it is a wonderful game. I highly recommend it. Dr. Three Putt says a solid mid game. Yeah, I feel like it's a midweight game. I would highly recommend this to anyone out there. Let us continue. So that's Concordia. That's my number 10. I'll catch up on chat here. Okay, yeah, we're all caught up. Let's go to. So I'm going to go back to this screen. So that was number 10. So I'm trying to be like get everything fancy here. I've got these little things set up. Let's go to my number 9 on my list of top 10 games in my board game collection according to BGG. My number 9 is Seven Wonders Duel. And I just realized as I put this up, it looks like 9.7 Wonders Duel. No, this is just a 7 Wonders Duel, friends. And this game, this actually surprised me. I didn't think it was going to be this high on BGG. It is ranked overall number 17 on BGG. I really like this game. I don't know if it's like for like a 2-player game. I like Akrotiri. I love Watergate. I love Sun Tzu. Nothing to take away from 7 Wonders Duel. I think it's a wonderful game, but as far as like a 2-player board game, a strictly 2-player board game, I'd probably choose another one in front ahead of 7 Wonders Duel. But it is very, and right when it came out, let me see, this came out in 2015. So I remember when it first came out, people were raving about it, and rightfully so. I actually prefer this to 7 Wonders. But the great thing about 7 Wonders, you could play, I think it's up to 7 players, right? That you can play 7 Wonders. This is strictly the 2-player game. Panda, yes. Panda also enjoys Duel over a 7 base game. Yes. Great game, plenty of strategy, and responding to your opponents. Yeah. Niall Barry says, board game weight is like your personal weight. Just goes with what feels comfortable with you. The number doesn't mean anything. That is absolutely correct. So true. Yeah, there's just, it's just numbers, folks. But yeah, we all have a personal taste. 7 Wonders Duel, I do enjoy. I like how, compared to 7 Wonders, it's a 7 Wonders. You got that card drafting, sort of like Sushi Go, right? You look at a hand of cards, take one, pass the others. 7 Wonders Duel is also a drafting game, but they what I really liked about this for the 2-player version, they built a tableau of cards, and some of them you can see. Some of them you can't. So you don't know exactly what's coming out, but you do have some ideas you can plan and go towards those. I thought that was a genius move by Antoine Bauza and Bruno Cathala, as we see there on the page. I think that was a genius move to make 7 Wonders Duel playable by 2 players. Because I know I actually played the 7 Wonders base game with the 2-player variant one time where you have like a dummy hand. Like you look at cards, you put one in the dummy hand, then you give one to your opponent. I'm not really a fan of that. The tableau that they did was genius. Really love it. Octavian, enjoy 7 Wonders, snappy and a clever way. Yeah, I was just talking about that. That's so true. A lot of people here in chat love Duel more than 7 Wonders. Agreed. But I'll still play 7 Wonders just because it plays up so many players, and it's for a 7-player game, you can knock it out in like 30-40 minutes at most. I think that's great. If I had to play like a 6-player game, 7 Wonders would be one of them. Ethnos or Ethnos, that's the game I would pick for a higher player count. That's like Gateway-ish or Gateway Plus-ish. And Rado Runs Through actually says, very much in minority opinion, but we prefer original 7 Wonders as 2 players. And I was just talking about that. I didn't really, for me, it wasn't, I wasn't really into the card drafting dummy player. But again, it's been so long since I played that. Maybe there's more to it than I remembered. But yeah, both are really good games. There's a reason why both have been around for so long and still popular on so many lists, because they're both rock solid games. Oh, JB Glazer, interesting. The print and play for this is a solo. Is a great way to play this. Oh, interesting. Did not know they had that. Or maybe I did, and wow. Another one. Okay, D Albatross also agrees with Rado. Much prefer 7 Wonders. Awesome. AJ Gamer, this is a good point. It's funny, AJ. I think when I first played 7 Wonders as well, I didn't expect it to be a card drafting game either. I saw the theme and I was like, Civ Builder, and I just didn't expect card drafting. But this is the game that for a while, when I would introduce new gamers at game night to like Sushi Go, or like my family or close friends, we'd play Sushi Go, and then later on, not that night, maybe the next week or something, I'd say, hey, let's play 7 Wonders. It's like Sushi Go, right? The card drafting thing is similar to Sushi Go. Daniel, yes, the card pyramid of 7 Wonders is awesome. Love it. 7 Wonders would be a great the 7 Wonders would be a great name for a doo-wop group. I think that's a perfect name for a doo-wop group, Book of Nerds. You should do a ditty about the 7 Wonders. Awesome. Yeah, a lot of love for 7 Wonders Duel in the chat. Love it. Nice. Dr. Threeput says, we play 7 Wonders Duel in Watergate after a crunchy 4-player game, then back to a 4-player game on game. Oh, that's cool. That's a great way to change things up there. Bottom Shelf Video Game says K-pop group with 7 members. That is great. All right. So that is my number 9. It is not 9.7. It is my number 9, Seven Wonders Duel. These are my top 10 board games in my collection according to BGG. Let us move back over here so I can secretly set up the next screen here. Again, thank you for joining me today, friends. Let's go on to my number 8, which I have a feeling a lot of people, well, we'll see. I have a feeling this is still a popular game. I love this one. My number 8 is the Castles of Burgundy. This is the classic Steffenfeld. And it's funny to me to call it a classic because it's 9 years old. For whatever reason, I always think this game was published in like 2000. You know, it was like in the ancient times, right? I mean, it's only 20 years ago. That's nothing. But I love this game from the get-go. This one, when I played it for the first time in my game group years ago, I was actually intimidated by this one because I'd heard the name Steffenfeld. At the time, I think I'd only played like La Isla, which I really enjoyed, but I knew this one was like highly regarded. But the first time I saw it, I was intimidated, but for 2 reasons. Number one, there's just like a bunch of little tiles and all this stuff. I'm not really sure what was going on. But the second reason why, again, I looked at everything and it was not colorblind friendly. I don't know what is, you know, I love Steffenfeld games, the ones that I've played. But for whatever reason, all his games are not colorblind friendly. Why is that? Is it Aaliyah? Is it wrong? I don't know. And it's just frustrating to me as a color. I have red-green color blindness, and I also have problems with some blues and purples. But it's like, give me a little icon or just change it and make things. I don't want to get into a rant about it, but because I love this game. This game is wonderful. This is, you know, another Euro game, but it's use dice, right? And you're going to use dice to, you know, for your actions. And great thing about this game is, man, there's just so much good about this. I want to look at this page here. So you've got dice rolling, grid coverage, the hexagon grid, the set collection, tile placement. So it's a tile placement game at its, would it say it's at its heart? I'd probably call it more. It's more based on the dice, your dice actions, right? But you are trying to cover out your estate. So yeah, it is a tile laying game at heart, and you are going to place tiles based on what your player board has. You need to place, you know, the different colors or the different types. Rado says, rant, Ruel, rant. Colorblind games, friends. I make them more colorblind friendly. All you got to do is put a simple icon that is unique to that color. I feel like that's at least half the time that would resolve the problems. But with this game, I took my personal copy. I just added little stickers, you know, a little sticker that says A for animals, a little sticker that says C for castles, S for shipping, and so forth. I just put those stickers on the tiles themselves and also on my personal player board. People that aren't colorblind, they use their player board, doesn't have stickers all over it. I actually had to do this with Castles of Tuscany recently as well, and it's such a bummer to do that. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, maybe 15 minutes out of my life, but I just wish, like, out of the box it would come ready to play. But this game, I love this game at 2 players. I feel like at 3 to 4 players it drags a bit, but 2 players it's perfect. It's a wonderful game. Euro game. You're using dice for your actions. And it's so good, right? Dead Last again. I'm AJ wanted me to try this. AJ, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Dr. Three Butts, the first Feld and my first Feld and won it. Yes. This box has the aesthetic of the older Aaliyah series. Yeah, totally fits with those early 2000 box covers. Yeah. And that's the funny thing. Early 2000s, and this is 2011. You know, I feel like they should have, like, I don't know who their graphic designer is. Yeah, just I'm not the biggest fan. Rado, number 10 was Concordia. Oh, okay. Yeah, people got that there. Book of Nerds says, love the app for Castle Burgundy. I have not gotten the app yet. I'm assuming, like with a lot of these board game implementations, I'm assuming that they have a colorblind friendly option. I hope so. Rado asks, isn't it like 10% of gamers have some sort of color blindness? Yeah, so it's in the male population. I believe this, I don't know if this is world or US. I think it's like 1 out of every 12 male gamers or males have some sort of color blindness. It's much more rare in women. It's like 1 in 100, I think. But yeah, Yeah, and bottom shelf, that's so true. Making it colorblind friendly also makes it easier to play for everyone. Yeah, it's you know, you don't even have to have vision issues, right? Placing dots would help. Yep. Daniel says I need to try this one in Concordia. Yeah, I highly recommend it, Daniel. And Ben says with 4 players, you really need to play with people who don't sit around and dawdle. Yeah, that's true. And just my 4-player experiences with it, every group, it's just for whatever reason, it's just been really slow. But I would like to play this game at a higher count. But if we don't, like as Ben would say, if we don't dawdle, but it's and you know what? I love every version of this game. I love the roll and write one. It's Castle Burgundy Dice. I love the card game one, Castle Burgundy's card game. What's funny about the card game though? It takes like the most space. Like if you ever played the card game, you're building all these tableaus, and all of a sudden your entire table is filled with cards. I always crack up about that. But yeah, it's really, this game's really neat. You're placing your tiles. You have certain combinations that you could synergize and play, get them to play together, where you time things just right. You have those yellow knowledge tiles, I think they're called, that are like usually end game points or ongoing bonuses. I love that about the game. And then different the different tiles score different. Different tiles score differently. Duh. You have your animals, which is like straight set collection numbers. The more animals you get, the more points you get. So good. Shipping is another element. We could talk about this all day, but we are not going to be here all day. But we are going to continue here. Argus keeps hearing my name. And mini ranking list, count down your Burgundies, including Tuscany. Great. Okay, let's do a mini countdown. Thank you, Rado. Yes, mini countdown. And friends, I want to hear yours as well. Let them know in chat. My number 1 is going to be Castle of Burgundy, the base game. That's just classic Stefan Feld. Love it to death. Love it to pieces. Number 2. Oh, man. Okay, number 2, I'm going to make this easy. Number 1, Castle Burgundy. Number 2, the dice game, or the roll and write game, the Castle Burgundy dice. I love that. It's really simple, and it gives me the flavor of Castles of Burgundy in 15, 20 minutes. And then number 3, probably the card game. I love the card game. It's just sort of redonkulous to me that it takes the entire table to play it. Castle of Tuscany, I've not ranked only because I've only played it twice, I believe. I feel like that's going to go up in my rankings. I really like Tuscany. Again, it's Castles of Burgundy-ish without as many things going on. And I'm always about a streamlined game, friends. I don't know about you. I love those streamlined versions of games. And Castle of Tuscany takes things out, but it really smooths things over as well. I feel like, so Michelle has not played Burgundy with me yet. I think I want to introduce her to Tuscany real soon. Octavian says Castle Burgundy, number 1, number 2, everything else because I haven't played them yet. Fair enough. Beyond Dead 13 says, speaking of time, did you see how long it took Benita to get through top 100 when she thought it would be just a streamer? Oh no, you just reminded me, Beyond Dead. Yes, it took her a long time, right? Maybe I may have to break this up. We shall see. But hey, why don't we? That's a good point, Beyond. So maybe I'll go to the top 5. It has almost been almost an hour, so we're going to see how far we go here. But thank you again for joining me, friends. I really appreciate y'all hanging out and spending some time with me today. Let's move on to my number 7 top 10 games in my collection, according to BGG. My number 7 is Scythe. So Scythe, this is the Stonemaier game that was all the rage a few years ago, like mega rage. Remember that? Like the Kickstarter and all the fancy bits and everything. Octavian says top 10, a 22-part series. Scythe, this one, I mean, look at the cover. That alone, that cover still blows me away. It is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite covers, board game covers of all time. It's got that, this is what, set in the early 20th century. But then it's got these futuristic, mechs in the background. Oh, it's so cool. And if you don't know the story, Jamie Stegmaier, the designer, saw that picture, that painting, and created an entire world, a game based around that. So, it's so good. Yeah, the art is really good. Absolutely love it. This one surprised me and a lot of gamers. We just assumed it was going to be Ameritrash, like get in your face. We're all gonna, fight and be in each other's face the entire game. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was more Eurogamey, right? It's a lot of engine building in this game. I love the action selection in this game. We all have our player boards, and you can't do the same action twice. So you're hopping around the action selection board. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. And some of them, as you play, or as you progress in the game, some of those actions will become better as you remove some resources. You're going to gain resources. You're going to improve your actions as you go. I love that in a game. I think that's why it really appeals to me. That engine building aspect to it, and you're converting resources, complete goals. You have all the different goals that you can do. There's I don't know how many, a dozen of them or so. I think you have to do 8 goals, was it, for the game to end? But you got that area majority part of the game, which I'm always a fan of. I like that in a game. AJ Gamer notes that the weight rating is interesting. Yeah, 3.42. Yeah, that's interesting. Now this one does. I mean, you are technically only doing one action, but you can unlock other actions during your turn, and certain things combo off each other. Yeah, it's so good. Amanda actually didn't enjoy Scythe. I hate that I build up and then people gang up together to steal from me. That is one thing I have heard from other people as well, Amanda. You're not alone in that. You can, and I remember my first game, I got crushed in my first game, and someone did do that to me, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But I was expecting that. But then the more I played, I realized, okay, no, it's more, you do a little more engine building. But yeah, there is that potential to, people can steal from you. It's a lot of, they talked about how it's more the threat of people attacking you than the actual attacking that happens. But I've personally had it happen to me where that was sort of a bummer where I was, where I got crushed. I have not. Rado asks, curious if you ever played it co-op with the expansion. I have not. I'd be curious, if anyone's played it cooperatively. I don't think I've played any. I have not played the expansion. I have not done the campaign or anything. I would love to. I've just played the base game. It says here 5. Again, I know I've played it more than 5 times. So I love it. I think I've won once. I guess I could find out here. I don't want to press here because it'll log. It has the people I played with. I don't know if they want their name on the internet. So I'll have to check. Actually, I can check on my phone. Y'all won't see that. I'm curious. I know I've won this game at least once, haven't I? Let's see. I'm going here. Scythe. Have I won a game? I could have sworn I've won at least one game. Come on. I have won. Let's see. Yes, I have won a game. Yay. Back in July 8th, 2019. I won a game. Yes, by 12 points. Hey, yay for me. Wonderful game. But Amanda does bring up a good point. That you can get your resources or things stolen. People still can attack you. As I play it more, I don't see that as much, but that is something to take into consideration. Look at these cool giant mechs. Yeah, cool. What do they do? Not much. Bottom shelf fair. That's fair. Amanda would try it co-op. Yeah. Dr. 3 0 for 4. R.A. Matney says, I love this game, consider myself pretty good at it. We played a 7-player game once. It took 7-player. It only took 1.5 hours. That's awesome. I love that. Then that type of gaming experience I love, where you can have a lot of players and knock through a game in that short amount of time. The game this good, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I feel like we could talk about these games all night long or all day long. But I am going to try to power through this list, friends. We are going to get to, so that's number 7. We're going to get through this list, friends. Wannabe Kiwi is in the house. Thank you for joining us, friend. Good to see you on here. Ben Osteen says the campaign for Scythe is fun. I believe you, my friend. Let's go here. And so we're almost halfway there. And now the number 6 game on my list, according to BGG, I played exactly one time, I'm ashamed to say. Well, I mean, I'm not ashamed. That's just, none of us have time to play all the games we want. I played this game exactly once. I loved it. but it just hasn't gone back to the table. And actually, it's on the shelf behind me. If you can see it, it is number 6, Spirit Island. This is a cooperative game, and this is whoops. Let's go over here, and that's not it. That's Side still. Where is Spirit Island? Hey, there's Spirit Island right there. This game, I was in LA a few years ago, and actually, I don't want to do it there. I played this game exactly one time. I was in LA. I did something at the, where was it? I was working for Geek and Sundry at the time. I did a studio shoot, and I didn't want to deal with traffic, and I was heading towards downtown LA anyways. No, wait. Now I'm thinking about, no, if I was a Geek and Sundry, that's Burbank. What was the other thing I did? Okay, my mind's going. I was in LA for some kind of work, some kind of thing, and downtown LA wasn't too far, so I went to a brewery there called Angel City Brewery. Is it Angel City? It is Angel City. And there used to be a meetup there. I don't know if it's still happening, but a bunch of LA people would meet there, and I got to meet a couple of guys. I don't remember their names, unfortunately, but they had a copy of Spirit Island, like immediately right after it came out. I was like, I want to play that game. And they were hyped about it. I was hyped about it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was brain burny in a good way. It was a cooperative game. And I remember just, two guys I'd never met before, we really got into it. We were like, oh, can we do this, that? Oh gosh, it's so good. And I love the fact that it flipped the script on the whole colonialism thing. We are the native spirits on this land, or trying to, was it cause blight to these attackers, these colonizers. Oh gosh, it's so good. But it was heavy, and I remember I do have it on my shelf. My plan was to play it solo, because this is the type of game where I would totally, I'd be the guy that's like taking way too long on his turn. And as I get older, I notice I am getting slower in making these decisions, but that's okay, because I can still play it solo and not have to. When I play games with people, I like to keep the game flowing, and I know that with this game, I totally would bog down with this. But I see a lot of love in chat for it. I agree, yeah, that it's yeah. Ben actually says, okay, so this confirms it. One of my Ben says it's one of his favorite solo puzzle games, and that's how I want to play it. I want to play it solo, sort of like the other one in my library that didn't make the list, but I want to play it solo on maybe live stream. But it's a game that I will never play multiplayer anymore, is Mage Knight. That game was great. But I played a 3-player game last time, and it was way too long. It's just so much downtime, which I don't like. But Spirit Island, it's a wonderful game. Yeah, Rado, Spirit Island got to be one of the heaviest co-ops out there. Agreed. I love the Spirit name so much. August Ray says, I've only played 1 or 2 players, though. It must be crazy with 3 or 4. Yeah, we played 3 players, and it was good. Octavian loves the theme. Love how each spirit plays differently. Yes, love the level of discussion, and that's what I do remember. I don't now, honestly, I don't remember all the elements of gameplay, but I do remember the discussions we had, and it was just really neat. Again, we were strangers. Like I'd like message them like on Meetup or something. Hey, I'm going to be in town. Can we play? Can I stop by your Meetup? They're like, yeah, sure. And just, we met that first time, and it just really wonderful gameplay and discussions and conversations we had trying to figure out how to win this game. And we ultimately lost. Like, we got to the pretty deep in the game, but we did lose. But I remember at the time, it's like, I really want to play this again. But we all know how that works, unfortunately. Just haven't had the time to get to it. Let's see. Wannabe Kiwi also got it recently. Want to play it solo. Very nice. And let's move on. Look, it's 11 a.m. I've been streaming for an hour, so we just started this list. We are about a half hour in. We're at the halfway point, so that makes me happy. Thank you again for joining us, friends. I'm looking at the top 10 board games in my collection according to BGG, and I want to thank Vault Hunter Argus and Carthane for reminding me to hydrate. Y'all, hydrate with me. It's getting hot out here. In the words of the great philosopher Nelly. I had to throw on a Nelly reference. It's getting hot in her. Gotten hot in here. I got the lights on and stuff, but it is going to be a hot day. I know the Pacific Northwest, y'all are suffering right now. I'm thinking about y'all. Please stay safe out there. Hydrate, jump in the pool, whatever you got to do. We had that heat down here a couple of weeks ago in Southern California. Y'all get it now. I hope everyone's staying safe. I know the power outages are insane. Please stay safe out there, friends. Rado, thank you for getting the reference. Yes, I'm not suggesting anything. Y'all do what you feel is comfortable to you for yourself. If y'all know Nelly, folks, 90s hip hop artist, St. Louis, right? Let's continue. So, Book of Nerds done and done. Yes, do what you got to do, friends. Let's stay cool out there. Number 5 on my list is Twilight Struggle. This game, let me get it up here. This game blew me away the first time I played. It was another one of those games on my bucket list for years. I'd heard so much about it, and I always wanted to play it, but I was like, let's be honest. That cover did not appeal to me. You got I don't like, I don't know. It just seems so, how do I say this? It just seems like sort of clip artish to me. It's never been my favorite cover. I feel like Twilight Struggle, it's about the Cold War. Like, there's so many images that they could have used, but regardless, the game is amazing. It is, I like to call it's like a history lesson in a box, gamified. It's so wonderful. And I'd never played it until I think 3 years ago. A gaming buddy of mine, it's his favorite game of all time, and he was newer to the game group. I got to know him, became a friend as well. And when I learned his favorite game, I was like, "Hey, I'd love to learn how to play this game." And he was like, "Oh, I'll teach you." So we actually did a teach. He just gave me a teach one day. We met at Starbucks, and it was funny. We wanted to have some coffee, hang out. We didn't have much time, but he brought the game and he laid it out on like one of those like little tables. It was funny just seeing this game laid out in Starbucks. It's like, the board's like hanging off the little table. But he gave me a teach, I was like, oh man, it's a card driven game, and each card. John, yeah, Book of Nerds. It's so tense. Every card is, the gameplay is intense. You're trying to, so it's an area control game. It's a Cold War, U.S. versus USSR. You are trying to, gain control of all the different countries in the world, and you're doing it through card play. You have events. And now I played this game, I think 2 or 3 times. And each time it was just, I wasn't literally sweating, but it felt like I was sweating the entire time. Like, oh, do I want to play this card right? And as I learned, like early on, when you play against an experienced player, you're going to get crushed. And I did. I got beat pretty badly. I think I was the U.S. the first time, then the USSR the second time, or maybe it was the other way around. But anyways, it was tough. And as you learn, as you play the game, as you become a veteran player of that game, you're going to know the cards. You're going to know how to play them better. And, you're just going to get experienced. And the experienced player will almost always win, if not always. But it's so good. You have all the different cards. They're related to real life events. You have a track where it's going to track your race to space, right? The space race. All the different things that happen in the world during that period of time. Oh my gosh. Like, I remember my brain hurting while playing it, and it's still, I don't know if Brain in a Jar is still here, but my brain literally felt like it was in a jar after this game. But so good. What is the weight? The weight is 3.59. I felt like it should be like a 4. But Twilight Struggle is intense. Yes, one of the games where the 10th play is so much better than the first because of everything. Yes, there it is. And I feel like I feel bad now because I haven't played it in like a year or so. And I know that this is the game that you'd like to, that I feel like I should play like once a month in order to really learn those cards and which ones to play. Because, when you play an event, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I played, but you play an event, like if it's your opponent's event, they get to do stuff. It helps them. Or maybe if you play it for the action points on your turn and it's the event is theirs, they get a benefit as well. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So intense, folks. Bottom Shelf says, I have a love-hate relationship with CDGs. Love the variance and huge events that the cards bring, but card knowledge is a huge advantage, and I'm not into memorizing card maps. And that is true. That is a great point, actually. If you're not into memorizing cards, and what those specific cards, how they can combine, how they can synergize with others, then you are going to be at a disadvantage. Rado says, many years ago, I picked this up, learned the rules, sat Jen down, teach her, got 50 minutes of the rules run through, and she stopped me and said simply no. Yeah, this one, I can see that. You know, there's a lot going on. It is a card driven game, so I do like the fact that it's a card driven game. You're just playing cards, but it's so much more than that. And when you dive deep into it, friends, it is for me. It was a history lesson in a box. So let's see. There's a good stream. Good Steam app version according to Octavian. Yes. Yeah, there is dice rolling too. Yeah, that's right. There is some dice rolling. But thank you, Ben. I forgot about that. I think maybe because I lost last time. I was so traumatized by it. Yeah, some people could. That's fair. Off-putting the dice rolling. But again, I think that's a small enough part of the game, right? I mean, you are going to resolve things, certain things with the dice. But I feel like it's still heavily card based, right? From what I remember. But that is Twilight Struggle. So I got to admit, here's another confession. We're going to continue with the Ruel confessional here. I played this game a couple times. I have a copy of the game back here. It's behind one of these here. I've never opened it. I've only played my buddy's version a couple of times with him, and I hadn't planned on getting this game. I know, as much as I love it, I hadn't planned on it. But thanks to my wife Michelle, we are at Game House Cafe here in LA, Glendale area, and they had a raffle. It was during their 6-year anniversary, which is I think 2 years ago now or 3 years ago. They have an anniversary party every year, and we happen to be there. We're just playing games with friends, and Michelle won a raffle. And one of the games that they're giving, she had a choice. It was Twilight Struggle or like 2 games we already had. So she's like, "Oh, of course we're going to pick Twilight Struggle." And it was so funny. She got it. Of course, Michelle being she just said, "Oh, happy birthday!" And it's like, "Oh yeah, it's my birthday." So I have my copy, never been open. It's sitting on the shelf. I will play it one of these days. I want to crack it open. And we shall play it one day, I hope. So that's Twilight Struggle. Daniel, yes, they are having their reopening party this weekend. If you're in the LA area, please go to Game House Cafe. John, I am not going to be there for the reopening event, unfortunately. Actually, wait. Maybe I will be. I'm going to be in LA on Saturday for a meeting. And maybe I'll swing by. I probably have to buy. Are the tickets sold out? I'm assuming the tickets are sold out. Rado says, we took our clothes off as the least we could do. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Unwrap that game. I don't know if anyone wants to see that game unwrapped. My clothes are going to stay on for this stream at least. But thank you. So maybe John, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I'll text you, man. I'll let you know. I'm going to move on this list because we're going to get through this. I promise myself we're going to get through this. The number 4 game on my list. It's not Spirit Island. That was number 6. The number 4 game on my list. If you know me, you know in my personal rankings, this will be a lot higher. But the number 4, according to BGG, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. What more can be said about this game? It's a 4X game. It's epic. It's not a filler game. You're gonna say here, it's a gaming event, as I like to call it. It's a game that was on my bucket list for many years, but I was intimidated by it. I was like, I'm gonna sit here for 8 hours and play this game. I that didn't appeal to me, but I finally got a chance to play this a few years ago, thanks to my buddy Jake Michaels. Shout out to him. He's the one that taught it. He does such an amazing job of teaching it, and I played a 4-player game with him. I was the University of Jolnar, and they'll always be my faction. It's if you've played Twilight Imperium, there are. If you haven't played Twilight Imperium, there are I think 17 factions in the base game. And again, this is the 4th edition, so they redid the 3rd edition, added a bunch of stuff. So in the 4th edition, I think it's 17 or 18 factions or races you can choose from. University of Jolnar was my first. You always remember your first, and I won that game after 6 hours, and I could not believe it. It was the greatest game, one of the greatest, definitely top 5 gaming experiences of my lifetime, because 1, it was a bucket list game I wanted to play. 2, just the game itself. And this is what I love about Twilight Imperium. You think it's going to be this, it's a heavy game. It's a long game. It's an epic game. But you're doing 1 action per turn. It's got a very similar mechanism to Puerto Rico, where you do an action and then other players can follow a version of that action, like a lesser version of that action. And you're just doing that round after round after round. But you're trying to set yourself up to complete goals, the victory points. It's a simple game, folks. You're only playing to 10 victory points. But how do you get there? That's the question. And then when someone takes over that middle planet, Mechaltal Rex, that's when it gets really crazy because you're going to start negotiating. You're going to start changing the rules to the game. You may have new objectives. Oh my gosh. It's just pure, it's just an epic. It's not for everyone. It's got dice. You're going to roll for combat, but you got ways to mitigate those dice. You have cards that you can play. This is the one game I recommend to every gamer. When you've been into the hobby for a while, I would recommend giving it a shot. Try it. But it's a day, so you're going to book a day. Say, hey, we're going to start at 10 a.m. We'll have a lunch break, and then during the day, we'll have coffee breaks, maybe a nap break if you need it. But this game, it's got everything. It's a 4X game. You're going to go out there. You are going to fight. You're going to lose stuff. You're going to lose ships, but that's what happens when you're trying to conquer the galaxy. It is an epic game. I absolutely love it. There's no spoiler here. I love it. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm speechless. I am speechless about this game. I'm gonna go back to the comments here. I'm gonna see what chat has to say. Let's see. Bob Shelf says, when's Ruel hot tub streaming starting? I don't know if anyone wants to play to see that. Dr. Three Putt, scared to play that one. I highly recommend it, friend. My friend, he's also on the on Rado's channel. Shay Parker does the best 30-minute video teach. Whenever I teach the game, it's one of those games you don't just learn it at the table. Beforehand, like a week beforehand, I like to send a video to the players I'm going to play with. We have it all set up. I have a system set up. Watch Shay's video, download and read the learning how to play the living learning guide, like how to play your first game. It's 20 pages or so. You watch the video, you're going to have a really good idea of what the game play entails. And then when you get to the game itself, as long as there's an experienced player at the table, it's going to flow smoothly. Book of Nerds is another fan. Yes, I've played many a game with Book of Nerds. One of the best people, if not the best person to play with, is Book of Nerds. I love playing Twilight Imperium with John. He's a great opponent, and he's won twice. I know he won back-to-back games one time, which I was like, so amazed by. He's such a good player. Amanda Panda has played a game. Yes, I played on Amanda. Incredible experience. Yes. Wannabe Kiwi worth trying. Intimidated me too, but I had a lot of fun. Yes, that's the thing about this game. It has this reputation, and deservedly so, right? I mean, you can't. I'm not gonna lie. I've played in a 10-hour game of this, but for the most part, my games have averaged 4 to 5 hours. Most of the games 4 to 5 hours. I have, again, it depends on the play group. It can go long. Bottom Shelf says, I've got my Bruno points saved up, ready to get my name on his forehead. Oh yeah, the Bruno points. Let me do that. I want to thank you all for spending the Bruno points. We'll hold off on that for just a second here. Daniel's gonna be working at Game House. Oh, Daniel. Okay, shoot, I would love to get down there. Yes, Ben O'Seen, the Space Cats, right? The who are the Space Cats again? The Empires, the Emirates of Hakan. Yeah, nothing like spending a day playing Twilight Imperium with friends. Oh, thank you, Book of Nerds. I'm going to put this up because that's such a nice thing for you to say. Do a great teach for this game. I've seen you teach the new players a few times, and you get it down, brother. Thank you. Yeah, so if you don't know, friends, my 2019 goal, 2 years ago, my 2019 goal was to play Twilight Imperium 12 times in a year, once per month. And thankfully, to people like John and Amanda, Jake Michaels, and so forth, I was able to complete my goal. I played it 12 times in that calendar year. I had a chance to play it 14 times. I had 2 more times, but I was like, I did not want to push it. But 12 times, I think I won twice maybe out of those 12 plays, but every single one was an epic experience. I loved it every time, and I still love it. And actually in 2020, I didn't make it official, but I wanted to play it 12 times last year. I played it twice, January, February, and we all know what happened in March. Yeah, so... let me see. Amanda Penn, I'm going to throw this comment up because I hope Jake watches this. Yes, Jake Michaels is so nice about crushing you. He is, as John put it, he has the silver tongue that I've never seen anyone else do this, where Jake is so nice and he wins nearly every game he plays because he has this way about negotiating. And that's what I love about this game. And you get this whole negotiating diplomacy thing. It's a part of the game, and not everyone's going to like it. But and I'm not really the biggest fan of that in other games. But for this game, it works. He is the silver-tongued devil. He'll say, "Oh, give me this resource. I'll let you attack me here." It's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Next thing you know, he's got 10 points. Game over. Like, what? Not Jake again. So the running joke is we're always going to team up on Jake. Bottom shelf is speechless about TI as well. Probably a good. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Bo XC12127 says nap break does sound good. Maybe yeah, nap break is always good. Fred, I want to play. Rasmon says I want to play someday. Yes. Looks and reminds me of old Avalon War game. Yeah, it has that look, I guess, but don't be fooled. It is amazing. Amazing. Yeah, Jake is so good at that game. That is my number 4, according to BGG friends. Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I'm not going to go on anymore about it. I love the game. I think everyone should play it. So if you notice, I'm trying to see. I do love me my sci-fi a little bit more than fantasy themed games. I'm going to hydrate, by the way. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, maybe we can do some Bruno tricks and treats here. There was a Bruno treat. Thanks for redeeming it, folks. Later, for those of you watching live on Twitch right now, you spend Bruno points, you get things like that. For those of you watching on YouTube later or on the archive, whenever we do live playthroughs here, we have channel points that you can spend to do cool things with my pug, Bruno. Hey, that's my face. There's Bruno taking him for a walk. Thank you. And I'll move one more time. I'll move this way for a Bruno trick. He does his one trick. Woo! Roll over. Thanks for spending, folks, friends. Thanks for spending points, my friends. Oh, well, yeah, I'm getting tongue-tied now. We've been at it for a while. We got top 3 left. I was talking about sci-fi and fantasy. Sci-fi theme I love. Since I was a kid, I remember my dad introduced me to Star Trek. Love Star Trek. Then my mom and dad took me to go see Star Wars. Love Star Wars. So it's always been a theme that's, resonated with me. Just love it. Love games, love books, movies, everything about sci-fi. So my number 3 is Terraforming Mars. This is a game from Stronghold Games that has been out for years. And it's, what amazes me about Terraforming Mars? It's still, like, if you look over here on the hotness list, I have that on, oh no, I don't have it on screen. The hotness list, it's the number 1, it's the number 2 game on the hotness list. Now, granted, it's the new Eris Expedition, but still, it's actually, I scroll down, it's still in the top 20 hotness list. It's always going to be there. It's amazing. It's awesome. What else can I say about it? It is not for everyone. I feel like, it is what it is. Everyone has their taste in games. I love Terraforming Mars from my first playthrough up until my final one, my most recent one. According to BGG, I played it 28 times. A lot of it was solo. But I don't feel like I'm that good at the game, even though I played it a bunch of times. I just love the solo game. It flows really smoothly. Ben Olstein actually says it's popcorn. Easy when you get down to it, but a little hollow. Interesting. Dr. Threepus is number 2 on his list. I'm curious to try out Eris Expedition. Yeah, I just feel like it's, I really enjoy the engine building this. It's card driven, and you are going to, you got those terrible player boards, which, if you've seen it. If you play Terraforming Mars, you must get some kind of broken token, which I have, or some of the other third-party vendors that create player mats where you don't knock over your cubes and stuff. But I really enjoy it. It's sci-fi, right? You're trying to terraform Mars, as the title tells you, but you're going to build an engine where you're pumping out resources, you're pumping out different materials in order to turn those into the ultimately victory points. You want to put you're getting green out there, you're getting the oceans, you're eventually going to build cities out there so they can populate Mars, the red planet. I swear by the Prelude expansion. I will not play this game without Prelude. It cuts through like those really, really short first turns. It gives you extra resources, gets you extra stuff, and it ramps up the game. I think it's necessary. I always play it with Prelude now. Let's go through the comments here. Oh, okay. Octavia just packed everything in the big box. Yeah. Really enjoy seeing how Planet develops each game, has an almost narrative arc. That's true. That's really interesting. I don't think we talk about that enough when it comes to this game. That narrative arc, right? Because there is one. We are corporations trying to, terraform this planet over generations, right? This doesn't happen, and of course, in the game, it takes 90 minutes to 2 hours. But you're talking about generations of human life here, and think about The Martian. You all seen the movie or the read the book with the movie with Matt Damon, which I enjoyed. But it's a slow process, but it's neat to see how, oh, hey, this part of Mars now has some plant life to it. It's got an ocean. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, we've built a city finally. After all this time, it really is neat to see that. Going to go through some more comments here. Ross says, just put a dab of blue tack on the bottom of Cube's job done. Bottom shelf says, Terraforming Mars, a game where you buy everything twice because of the quality. Ben O'C, yes. Prelude is good. To be honest, the sort of development that the game needed before release. Yeah, and that's fair. I love Prelude. That ditch the first boring rounds in lieu of 2 cards and stuff. Agreed. I agree. You also have that in the Expanse a bit. Okay, cool. Terraforming Mars is one of my favorites that I don't actually own because everyone else owns it. Yeah. And I look at BGG's, the top 100, top 20 games or whatever. And like I mentioned before, Star Wars Rebellion, one of my favorite games, but I probably will never own that because Patrick, my friend Patrick, has that game. It's fully painted and it's just an experience at his house. So curious, do I like the drafting or non-drafting version of the game? When I was learning it, I did the non-drafting, but as I play multiplayer, I do prefer the drafting version. Dead Last Game is a great question. But he does say, I will not play the drafting version anymore because game takes way too long. And that is a great point. It does take much longer when you're drafting. And that is, there is something to be said for doing the non-drafting version because the cards you get, you have to make do. It is going to be harder to get that engine going, right? If you don't, get those cards that you want. But now I'm thinking about those first few plays. I enjoyed it so much the first couple of plays doing the non-drafting version, but then doing the drafting version, I would play it either way. My last few games have been the drafting version, but I never really thought about that. Dead Last Again. I never thought about why not play the non-drafting version again? That would be cool. But yeah, Terraforming Mars, folks. Raw. Just I was gonna say rock solid, but I've said that many times already. But one of my favorite engine building games. That's a little more involved than other engine builders. I like the Niobari says, I like drafting Prelude in the first round, then you just get dealt cards. Oh, okay, set yourself up for success. Then deal with it. Hey, that's a great way to do it. Do the drafting early with Prelude, maybe the first round, and then from that way you can set yourself up. Excuse me, and then from that point on, do the non-drafting version. Wannabe Kiwi says, I finally got to try Terraforming Mars at the beginning of the year or late last year after Stephen Bonacore kept shaming me for not playing it yet. And Stephen Bonacore will do that. He will shame you for not playing that game. Oh, great point. Hey, we are almost to the top game. We've got 2 more, folks. Fidelia. Yes, Terra Solid. Thank you. Great way to say it. We got 2 more, and I've done it. It's almost been an hour. Well, we did half an hour just hanging out chatting, and then we're doing an hour of a top 10 list. So this is great. This is working out perfectly. So thank you for joining me. We are going to get to my number 2 and number 1 game. So number 2, it is not a sci-fi game. Imagine that. It's not a sci-fi game, but this game I loved from the first play, and it's consistently rising up, not only in the BGG rankings, but in my personal rankings as well. I love this game. Let us do, where's the Brass Birmingham? This is the Martin Wallace classic, the new classic. It was redone. It was done in this nice deluxe version from Roxley. Oh, this is good. CJ Freddy is in the house. Thank you for joining, friend. Brass Birmingham this burns my brain in a good way. It's a brain burner in a good way. You are Steph Raccoon says loves how people pronounce this. Oh, Birmingham. So how would we pronounce it in English? So I say we Americans, or at least I, Southern California, born and raised, say Birmingham. Is it Birmingham? Or she's from Manchester. Okay, Dr. Threeput, you're number one. Yes. As the description says here, build networks, grow industries, navigate. So it's the Industrial Revolution, friends, and we are building a network to transport raw goods, like iron, coal, and so forth. And you're trying to build up industry during the Industrial Revolution. You're building up all different industries, and it's all about the rail system. You really want to get your rail system going. What I love about this game is the rail system is shared. So when someone unlocks that one route that you're trying to get to, it's a really cool feeling. It's like, okay, now I can finally get there, deliver my coal, and flip over a tile to get points, which is all about. But it's neat. It's fun because at the same time that they're flipping it, someone else is going to be connected to it. They can beat you to a certain spot. Oh, it's so good. And the one little niggle, is it the word niggle, or the one problem I have with it that always bothers me is that iron thing. I always forget, does iron teleport or not? I always forget. Is it iron? Is that the resource that like teleports, or what, you can do it from anywhere? Like I know beer, you have to have like a connection. Iron is technology. Thank you, Ben. But yeah, you have to have beer to, which always seemed funny to me, because you have to have beer to complete a certain deal, like your deals that you're consummating your business relationship with your fellow developers through a keg of beer. That always made me laugh. But this is such a wonderful game. Highly recommend it. I recommend. This one, Trial and Imperium. These are just such great games, so well designed. This game I haven't played since before the pandemic, I think. Yeah, I played a 4-player. Ben, I think it might have been with you actually at Strategicon. Oh my gosh, has it been that long? Wow, maybe it has been. Anyways, Ben says it's like knowledge or a small set of tools, easy to transport. Cole, you are talking about shifting tons of stuff, so you have to have canals, etc. Yeah. So this what I like too about this game. You have the two separate ages, right? You start with a canal age before before trains were a thing. You build up your canals. You're transporting your goods through this network of canals. The end of age 1 comes. Certain industries are going to go obsolete, so you lose those off of your board. So it's interesting. Do you go for those quick points during age 1, or do you trying to or sometimes you're forced to? Maybe you that's the only thing you can do, or you try to plan for age 2 where you have these industries that are not going to go obsolete, that you'll be able to connect to when you start building the rail system, right? So you take off all the canals from the first age, second age comes in, railways. Oh, so good. It's an economic game, which I'm not always the big fan of because I'm not good at them. I'm not good at a lot of games, but I enjoy them. And this one, every single play has been enjoyable. Even at 2 players, I've enjoyed the 2-player variant where you just, you shut down part of the map, basically. I know I played it with Book of Nerds once as well. We had a great time with that. But yeah, Brass Birmingham, folks, so good. Every game is an economic game. Thank you, Bottom Shelf. That's a good point. There it is, right there. Every game is an economic game. Okay, so that's my number 2 of all time, according to BGG. I don't know about y'all, but man, I can't believe it's been an hour and a half. It's flown by in one sense, but at the same time, I'm definitely feeling the effects on my voice. So thank you for hanging out with me, making it all the way through here. Argus, friends, thank you for reminding me. Yes, Panda Angel, thank you for reminding me. Folks, why don't we all stretch? Do the chair stretch. Oh, yeah, let's stretch it out. Oh, that helps. And then a little hydration. Yes, hydrate, y'all. And let's talk about our number 1. Let me catch up with comments real quick. John, yeah. Book of Nerds, we played with... Oh, you know what? We got to talk about this. Book of Nerds talks about we played Brass Birmingham with Jamie Lannister for his BGG challenge. Now, Gaming Lannister is a legend. He played at the time. This was 2 years ago. At the time, the top 100 board games on Board Game Geek. He played all 100 in 100 days. I played Brass with him and John, and then we also played. We actually met at Amanda's place, and Amanda, we played Stone Age, Architects of the West Kingdom, or was it Raiders of the North Sea? I know we played like 2 or 3 games that day, and we were trying to help Gamey Lannister get through it, and he did it. I'm still amazed. Like I don't know if it's still ranked, but excuse me, Twilight Imperium, the 3rd and 4th edition were ranked in the top 100 at the time. So he actually played both editions. I know I actually played 4th edition. My only 3-player game of Twilight Imperium was with Gaming Lannister and Ben Osteen, which was interesting. I like it's. I love it at the full player count. I think it's best at 6, but at 3 players it was really interesting. It was still Twilight Imperium. I loved it, but to play that it was I still can't believe he did it. 100 games and oh my gosh, yeah, so much fun. 100 days, absolutely mind blowing. Follow Gaming Lancer on Instagram. I know he's on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't know if he's still doing any kind of challenges these days. His partner Emma, she's amazing Twitch streamer. She recently got partner, but anyways. I'm at my number 1, friends. This is if you're just joining us, you're late, but we're going to go through them. These are the top 10 games of my collection according to BGG. You see a few of them here behind me. We're going to run through the top 10 real quick. Number 10, Concordia, a classic, right? Number 9, Seven Wonders Duel. I keep looking at 9.7 Wonders Duel, but Seven Wonders Duel. This is the 2-player version of Seven Wonders. Number 8, The Castles of Burgundy. There's so many other Castles of Burgundy now. I love seeing the classic base game still in the top 20 of BGG. It's my number 8 according to BGG. Aside from Stonemaier Games, just the artwork on that, beautiful. And it's a Euro game with a little bit of Ameritrash in it. I think that's all I describe it. Spirit Island, one of the heaviest co-ops according to Rado, and I would have to agree with that. One of the heaviest co-op games out there. I'm sad to say I've only played it once, and I want to play it again. And I'm gonna be like Yoda. I'm going to play it again. I'm not gonna try to play. I'm going to do it. So that's my number 6. Number 5, The Cold War of the Twilight Struggle, a 2-player game, war game, card-driven, classic, U.S. versus Russia. Oh, good game. My favorite game of all time, number 4, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I'm not going to go on about it because we can talk about it all day. It's an epic 4X game. So amazing. Number 3, another sci-fi game I love, Terraforming Mars. This one, now that I'm thinking about it, this was like really highly ranked in my personal rankings. I feel like it's dropped off a bit only because I haven't played in a while. So I feel like I need to play it again and it'll go back up in the rankings. Or you know what? I need to watch The Martian again and then play it. My number 2, which we just talked about, Brass Birmingham. This economic game, Martin Wallace classic. I have not played Lancashire. Now I want to play Lancashire now. I have not played that one. I've played Birmingham several times though. So that leads us up to our number 1. My number 1 time, everyone drum roll at home, blah, 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 please. My number 1 of all time, according to BGG, is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. This is the legacy game that I want to say launched the craze. I know there was Risk Legacy that came out before it, also by Rob Daviau, but this is the one that really took the gaming world by storm. I loved the experience. Every minute of this experience was amazing. That being said, it took me like 2.5 years to go through the campaign because one of the people in my campaign, it was me and Michelle started with our daughter Lauren and her boyfriend at the time, but Michelle wasn't really into it after first game. Michelle likes the Pandemic Hot Zone series. She likes the smaller version of the game. Pandemic and then Pandemic Legacy, not really her jam. So we're like, okay, cool. So we end up playing just when Lauren would return from school. She was in college at the time. And when she returned from school, if we could carve out the time, we would play a game or 2. So like that first year, we played, I think, like 6 games and we got halfway through it. And then just things got busy on my end, on her end. and it just we weren't able to schedule it. So, but then finally, at the end of 2019, Lauren and I, just the two of us, finished our camp. We played November and December all by ourselves, and we completed the game. The narrative arc in this story is wonderful. It is tremendous. That's the thing that you remember. Again, I don't want to do spoilers, because if you have not played it, this is another one of those games. Please play it, folks. You can totally find it. It's affordable now, more affordable than, it's still, honestly, it's worth every penny. The narrative arc of this game is wonderful. You unlock things, new mechanisms and new story elements and new thing. I'm trying not to spoil it. I love it. I loved every minute, but I think I would have liked it better if we could have completed it a little, because we would forget things. And if you haven't played Legacy, like let's say we ripped through the first 6 months in, over a regular amount of time. So we didn't forget things, but by the time we got to the end of it, Lauren and I, we forgot about so many mechanisms, because, you add things to the rule book. Spoiler alert, you do add new rules to the rule book. And we'd forget about these things, like, oh, shoot. So we did a lot of retconning. We'd have to, let's go back a turn. And that was sort of a bummer, but it was what it was. That's the only bummer of the experience. Like, we kept forgetting things, but the game itself is just awesome. Just awesome. Please, if you haven't played it, if you're not going to play Twilight Imperium, play Pandemic Legacy Season 1. It's just amazing experience. And that being said, it's interesting to me that it's really held. Right now, it is the number 2 game overall in BGG. Number 1's Gloomhaven, of course. But it's interesting to me that these Legacy games stay so high, because as far as replayability, you've played through it, you've discovered everything. Like, but you can still play the board, which is interesting, right? You can still play base Pandemic with your Legacy board and add those in. But to me, like, the thrill of this game, the excitement, and just the love of this game is just as you get to that next part of the story. And I remember reading one of the reviews early on. Someone likened it to like a great miniseries, like on HBO. That's absolutely what it felt like as we got through it. Just wondering where the story's going to go. Oh, what happened to this character? Oh, what happened to this? What's going to happen in this city? And what's cool is that it's like your customized version of your miniseries. You're going through Pandemic Legacy, all these things happen, and your story is customized to what you and your game group has done throughout the game. Oh, this city's on fire, literally on fire. We cannot go there. Oh, this city's safe. We can go there. Oh, we need to do blank, blank, blank before blank, blank, blank. Yes. And that's what makes this game so great, is that the narrative of it. Again, one of the great gaming experiences of my lifetime was Pandemic Legacy Season 1. I have not played Season 2. I've heard mixed things about that. I played the first, like the opening scenario of Season 0, which is like the prequel. Loved it. Loved Season 0. And I really want to play more of it. I think I'm going to solo that one. Because it's a Cold War theme and it's really neat. But again, we're focused on Season 1 here. Season 1, highly recommend. Let me look at the comments here. Let's see. Raspan, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it, friend. Have a good day. Zen Banana Slug, one of my top games. Yes, totally love this. Agreed. Tippy top of my shelf is Daniel. Play it, friend. I feel like I don't know if solo. And here's the thing about Legacy games: it is tough to get that same group of people back time after time again to do it. So I think if you're, perhaps you and a partner can play through it. That's one of my all-time disappointments. I have Mechs versus Minions, and I never got to finish it because one guy didn't like it after we played 3 times, and it's a 10-game campaign. And it's just such a bummer. It's like we got through the first 3. I was enjoying it, but it wasn't for him, and I'm not going to force anyone to play a game, right? So it's like, okay, but just never got back to it. I'll have to find someone to play it with again now that things are opening up again. Raucous Ray says, still need to play this one day. I'm just so bad at Pandemic. Hey, and that's the thing, like, Pandemic, it's all for me, it's all about the story. Like, get really, you're going to lose, and you may have to repeat months because if you lose, you repeat. But still, it's so good. I would recommend playing it. Dr. 3-Bit just got it. Still in Shrink Bite. Yeah. Way to start with your game group. Nice. Daniel has not found the game group after winning it for 4 years. Yeah. Ben Oseen. Oh, back to Birmingham. Felt like kind of like ignore other players a little more and do my own thing a little more too. Okay, cool. Octavian, yes, still one of my most memorable gaming experience. Rob and Matt really nailed it with this one. Agreed, 100%. And it was, it's influenced other game designs, right? I think my favorite of all time, and again, this is because I was able to complete a campaign in a good amount of time with the same players. The Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated, I had the same 4 players. We played within a decent amount of time, maybe two or 3 months. It was 10 games or whatever number of games it was. Wonderful. Loved Clank Legacy. And that one, that one, Legacy Pandemic, I would probably put, as far as narrative goes, I would go that one would be better. But Clank Legacy had a really nice element of humor to it as well. So highly recommend that, especially if you like deck building. And I love Clank, and I would probably play Clank base before I played Clank, or before I played Pandemic base. So that probably plays into my love of Clank Legacy. But Pandemic Legacy, even though it's not on my personal top 10, I'm okay with it being on my list because it was such a great experience. So thank you, BGG, for the high ranking of this great game. Panda says she'll play Mechs vs. Minions. Yay. Okay, there's one. Time Roller's in the house. Hi, Time Roller. Clank Legacy is my must-buy list. I highly recommend it, AJ, especially if you like Clank. Friends, we did it. We got through my top 10 games in my collection according to BGG. That is it. We did it. I want to thank you all for joining me. My voice is going to go, but that's okay because it's time for lunch. I'm going to go eat lunch quietly. And thank you, Rado. So I'm in OBS right now, but I'm also using StreamYard. StreamYard allows me to do these cool little things that pop up here. I'm just using virtual camera. And what about the other 21 parts? Argus says, yes, I'm going to be back. I'm going to do this again, Argus and everyone in chat. I am going to do a list of my actual top 10. So this is the one that's according to BGG. So spoiler alert, like my actual top 10 Pandemic Legacy won't be on there. But I think we know what my number was. I'm just going to spoil it. My number was going to be Twilight Imperium. But there are other games that I would put on my personal top 10. As an Omni gamer, I look at my top 10 like this. What are my favorite experiences in gaming, right? So Twilight Imperium is going to be number 1, but there's going to be other games that are not as highly ranked on BGG, but you'll have to tune in for the next episode for that. Probably happen. Maybe I'll do it again. Like I like this time slot, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Probably going to do it next week as well, but please follow me on the socials if you don't already. Let me get the commands here. You can find my work. Where is I don't know where the link is, but you can find me on Discord. Find me on Discord. There, all the socials. And gosh, I think I deleted it by accident. I usually have this thing I can press on my stream deck here and it'll pop up all the information. But y'all can find me easily at Ruel Gaviola on Twitter. Instagram is Gaming with Ruel. You can find me on Facebook, Tabletop Tonight. There it is. Thank you. Socials. Thank you, Amanda Panda. You are a lifesaver, friend. There's all the socials there, folks. You can find me there, and I will announce the next time I do a top 10 list. And what else? I think we got, eat lunch. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, this is good advice. I'm going to put this up for everyone. Eat lunch, drink boba, and recharge. Thank you, Daniel, for joining me. I want to thank Rado for stopping by as well. Amanda Panda, Wannabe Kiwi. Thank you, Argus, Dr. 3-Putt. You've been here all day. I really appreciate it. Octavian. Thank you. It has been fun, right? And now Octavian wants to play our Agricola and War of the Rings, Spirit Island, Mechs vs. Minions as well. We will play, friend. We will play. Tantaloris is in the house joining us. Thank you. AJ, thank you as well. We're going to find someone to raid. Why don't we do the raid? Let me find the raiding button. Where's the raiding button, friends? It's not there. And I know we can do it I can do a command through chat, but I want to see who we're going to raid. We've got Gen Con TV is up. Oh, Ross. Ross is, we got to raid Ross. Ross is part of TLN. If you don't know what TLN is, I'm going to drop the link right there. Tabletop Live Network, 24-hour event that we do once a month with the brothers Murph and a bunch of great streamers, including Book of Nerds, Amanda Panda, and a bunch of other people here in chat. We're going to raid Ross because he's part of TLN, and Ross is awesome. So let's go over there. I'm going to start a raid, and hopefully y'all will stick around for the raid. So please stick around here. I'm going to end the broadcast, but we will raid. And friends, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tomorrow here with Michelle. We're going to play a game. We're going to announce that later on today. And until meantime, I'm going to start the raid. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Bye now.